Hello, welcome to the Sypnotix. I am Alex, and we are reviewing this little tablet here, the Legion Tab Gen 5 from Lenovo. I also wanted to say that Lenovo did send us this unit to review, but all thoughts are mine and my own from my review time with it. They're not going to be watching this video prior to publication, so you guys are going to be hearing my thoughts first. This is a nifty little tablet that really serves as a elite high-end tablet for the gaming section of Android, but can it do more? Is it really worth it in this current global economy with everything skyrocketing in price? We'll see right now. I'm going to talk about it, so let's jump right into it. All right, let's get some of the specs out of the way. Let's talk about this display. This is an 8.8 inch. It's a 3K LCD display, 165 hertz refresh rate, or up to 165. So those are top tier gaming specs that we want to see. It has HDR10 capability and also Dolby Vision for this display here. I do think that this aspect ratio, this is a 16:10 aspect ratio. So it is a rectangular design, very similar to tablets of the olden days where it's not a square. Square tablets are great for reading content. However, these wider displays, these 16:9, 16:10, even 21:9, like the Xperias back in the day, they are really nice for gaming and also watching movies, specifically cinema. So this has that gaming aspect ratio, which is very comfortable in the hand for both landscape and portrait gaming. And then let's talk about the processor on this, because this has the granddaddy of them all right now, the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. You see all the fingerprints here? This is a metal build, and this is a very nice metal build here. And it's also rather thin, as you can see. But anyway, back to the Snapdragon. The Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 is powered by 12 gigabytes of RAM for this model here. Just let me double check that. I'm pretty sure it is 12 gigabytes that they sent us here. Yeah, 12 gigabytes and then 256 gigabytes of storage. And there is, because it is a gaming device, there is a slot right here. Let me find it right here on this side, if you can see that. There's a micro SD card slot where you can house games and storage on here. That's really useful for ROMs, for emulation, and things like that. So you do have that here. You basically have all your controls and buttons on one side of the frame. The right side, you have the power button here. There's a little bit of texture on it. And then you have the volume rockers up and down. And then obviously this that we just talked about, the micro SD card slot. On the bottom of the frame, you do have a USB-C charging port here. There's two of them. There's one at the landscape and one on the portrait end, the long end and the short end. This is one of my favorite design choices because these two USB-C ports allows you to do different things for this kind of port here. The long side port is faster. So this one right here in landscape mode, this has a DP out and it does everything else. This one here, when you're holding it portrait mode on the bottom, this one has OTG support. It can handle charging and audio like the other one does, but it cannot do DP out. Only this long one can. So on the bright side, you can use both sides to charge. So depending on what type of game you're playing, and if you need extra juice on it, you can plug it in. Landscape, you can plug it on the bottom, horizontally and vertically. So that's very, very nice to have there. And then on the back side here, we do have a camera. It's a 50 megapixel camera. I'm not going to really talk about it. I don't really encourage using tablets for photo or video taking. You do have other things you can use for that. But there is a camera right there, and below it is the interesting part. I'll roll some B-roll for you so you can see that. But this is an AI adaptive lighting. It's a O design underneath there. It's called the Legion Halo, so it adds a little bit of RGB flare. You can turn it on in the systems, and it's located under the rear panel camera, so it can react to gameplay and system states as the user kind of navigates through Android on the tablet. You can also sync it with the RGB stuff from Legion Space. So yeah, it's kind of cool. It adds a little bit of flair. You're not going to really be seeing it because you're going to be looking at the screen here. The people behind you will see it, but you're not really, or the people in front of you will see it, but you personally will not see it while you're gaming. And then to round out the specs, this has a 9,000 milliamp hour battery, and I'll talk about the battery life and charging in a little bit. So one of the first games I wanted to show or demonstrate here is NTE. It's an Android game. It's also on PC and stuff, but this is the Android version that you can play. I'm going to bring out the floating display here so that we can see the FPS count and all that stuff. I'll put it right here. This game is quite popular. It's kind of like... it's kind of hard to explain what this game is. A little bit of Grand Theft Auto, a little bit of like Honkai, and it has anime graphics, free city roaming, it's action-based like this. I'm also connected to this MCON just for convenience. The reason I can't use this, which is the Kishi V2 Pro, can't connect. It's too short. This tablet is too long thanks to that 8.8 inch, so this unfortunately does not work with it. So, just for convenience, I am using the MCON. Anyway, I just wanted to showcase a little bit of gameplay on this game first. It is a pretty popular game that a lot of people are looking forward to. And I am steadily hitting about 60 frames on here. So 61, 60, 62. And yeah, I mean, it looks good. I'm playing on high settings right now. And, graphically, it looks good. The display here looks nice. It's not an AMOLED panel. Head over to Sypnotix.com. I do have a full written review on this where I talk more in depth about everything. But one of the things that could have been a little bit better are the darks, the blacks. This is an LCD panel, and for the price you're paying here, I think a lot of people expect like AMOLED as their go-to now for the higher prices for displays. And of course, touchscreen controls are as good as you can get here. Oh, I am just... Don't do this to a random civilian, poor guy. As you can demonstrate, it all works here. On-screen controls, controller, Bluetooth controls. Everything looks good. Then this game here, Astro Arena. This actually just came out recently too. You can't really play this too much with a controller, but you do have access to it and you can use this to work. Got a new character here. I thought I had this through yesterday. It might have been on my different account. But anyway, let's just jump into a match so you can kind of see what it looks like with the gameplay. I don't need to see this again. Yeah, so I am using a Sypnotix account for this particular tablet because it is a loaner and it will go back. It's a review unit. But I did play this game with my main account and it wasn't too bad. It's actually kind of fun. All right, here we go. So when I was testing this, I did hit pretty much rock steady 60 frames per second. Right there, you saw 46 with some animation here, but for the most part, playing this was perfectly fine. I'm going to actually have to use my finger here because I can only control this portion. So yeah, we're hitting 60 frames per second right now. Graphically, it looks nice. It's beautiful. Things are smooth, which is what you want. I'm not really paying attention. I'm probably going to die here. Oop. Run away. This is also another issue of me playing these games, looking through the camera. I have no idea what I'm doing. Just want to make sure that things are in focus and I'm kind of playing through my camera. I'm not good at these games in general. I try not to play MOBAs. But this game is pretty rock solid at 60 frames per second here. So, all right, so we have a game called Star Sailors, which is a little confusing. I'm going to show you a game called Star Saviors. Both of them came out around the same time, but as you can see, the game's playing. I'm hitting 60 frames per second on this. It's a beautiful, beautiful game. Let's cover that anime girl up a little bit so we don't get demonetized. But yeah, basically this game is like Honkai Star Rail, which if you've watched older videos, I played that for a long, long time. But I actually think this looks better. This actually has better animation. I think the characters look great and buttery smooth gameplay, although it's on auto right now because I'm filming. But yeah, I mean, this works really well. It plays really nicely. And this is one perfect example of what this type of tablet is perfect for. This Legion is just absolutely terrific for these type of RPGs or these like, I don't even really know what to call it. It's not really an RPG. This is a gacha game, but it's terrific. Like if you are into these games, this is the type of tablet you want to run this in because run this with because it's doing really well. You see that transition is the only time the frame rate really dips a little bit, but the FPS for the actual battles and gameplay have been rock solid at 60 frames per second. These are the highest settings for this tablet for this game. So I am pretty happy with it, and it just looks and plays really well. All right, we're going to get into a battle here for this second game, which is Star Savior. And this is the one game out of the ones I'm going to show you that I've kind of had a little bit of issue with in terms of gameplay. It's still plenty playable, but it's not staying 100% at 30 frames per second. It's not really locked on 30 frames per second. I do see dips quite often into the 20s, like you can see there, 28 right there, but it's actually really noticeable. So my eye test, which I always tell people to do and not look at that, see that was 22, but if you don't look at that number and you actually just watch the gameplay here, it is actually very noticeable where it has that stutter or a skip. So that frame drop is legit, like it actually happens quite frequently. And so this is one of those games that I was talking about, like you can also play this elsewhere, but on Android, it might not be the most optimized for Qualcomm processors. That's happened very frequently in past years and past devices. And so, ARM processors and things like that, those are all common denominators to why a game doesn't perform well. And so, there are things that contribute to it. So just because you have a really high-end Snapdragon doesn't mean that you're going to get perfect gameplay out of everything out there. Also, I wanted to show you, since I'm on this and I am seeing frame drops, there is a performance mode which I currently am in. So this basically pushes your batteries to the max, kind of makes this tablet give you the best performance it possibly can. There's 3 modes. There's energy saving mode, which basically, as it sounds, tries to preserve the battery life. So you might not see the performance as good as it probably can be or should be in order to preserve the battery life. And what I normally have it on is balance mode. And you see switching to it, the CPU number basically goes up instantly on that, but it doesn't go as high as the performance mode. So it's like it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a balance of the two. It's self-explanatory. I don't know why I'm explaining that. But essentially, I've tried it out in both the performance mode and the balance mode. And to be honest, for games like this, I don't see much of a difference in both short-term and long-term play. I've had it on both for quite a few sessions for longer periods of time, shorter periods of time. I don't really see much of a benefit going performance mode. Not the end of the world, still plenty playable, but noticeable on this for sure. Okay, now I'm playing AFK Journey, and I just wanted to show just how nice it is to hold this with one hand. It's the vertical aspect ratio that I was talking about, 16:10. This form factor is really nice for this style of gaming as well. And as you know, a lot of Android mobile games are also vertical based like this, so you can play this one-handed, and it is nice to play. However, this game, like the Star Savior, I have seen the frame drop quite often, even in performative mode. And I've even tinkered with the settings and lowered it a little bit. So some of it is, like I said before with the Star Savior section, it is compatibility, it is optimization. That's something, like I said before, it is something I've seen with Snapdragon chipsets. Like it's dead. Just speaking of, look at that. It's frozen. It's gone. It's not loading. It crashed. I lost control. Yeah. Yeah, this happened before too. Okay. So yeah, perfect example showing you exactly what happened here. This game just crapped out on me and I lost control of it, which is fine. It happens. Not the end of the world. Or I lost partial control. Oh, there we go. Now I load back. Yeah, as you can see there, that was a very long load time, if anything. I basically lost control of this for a little bit. I played a little deeper on my other account, but yeah, it's one of those things. Like, this is still, I would say, still playable, but there are hiccups here and there. Yeah, now let's get into the fun stuff here that I think a lot of you guys want to see, and this is emulator, Dolphin emulator, everyone's favorite emulator. And this is a GameCube game, Mario Tennis. And everything, I'm going to once again use this controller here. Let's just get into a game. No, actually, no. Doubles is much easier for me to not pay much attention to because my partner can take care of me while I am talking to the camera and watching it through the camera. So as you can see, I am controlling everything. Bluetooth, game seems to be working fine. Frame rates have been good. I've tested a handful of GameCube games that I normally use with my evaluation periods for handhelds. And this has played it really well. I do think that it looks good, it plays well, and the great thing is I haven't really needed to tinker much settings to get it to work. Here's another game that I love testing for emulators for Dolphin, and it's Soul Calibur 2 for the GameCube. And I have actually not had this game run too well on a lot of different handheld consoles or emulation devices that I've reviewed over the years. So I was actually very happy to see that this fighting game it's rock solid here. Like, once again, without much tinkering or any tinkering. I didn't really change many settings to get this running. And it's just no frame drops at all. And it's plenty smooth. I don't even think I changed the speed on this. It's just running really well. All right, and everyone's favorite console of all time, the PS2. And I was actually very happy with the PS2 emulation here. It runs very nicely. I have God of War 2 going on right now. And let me try to pay attention to this so I don't embarrass myself in front of the camera. All right, tutorials, more tutorials. There we go. It has been a long time. But once again, God of War 2, this game doesn't always run well on just any emulation handheld that I've had. Like, it's a good litmus test for how well your hardware is compatible with this emulator, because just because some PS2 games run well doesn't mean all of them do. And this particular game has given me some issues in the past with other hardware. As you can see here, I'm basically locked on 60 frames per second. So the battery life, 9,000 milliamp hour battery in a really thin structure. Like, look how thin this is. They fit a 9,000 milliamp hour battery here. So it actually has survived really, really long. I was actually really happy with the idle durability. So I've left it sleeping for like more than a week, and the battery really didn't drain at all. So Really good standby. There's also 68-watt fast charging capability. So if you do run dry while you're gaming, you can always plug it in through one of the 2 ports here. So that's great. I do think that this is a very good battery life performance here. I was easily able to get at least a day, plenty more. You can probably hit like, I think if you play a really intensive graphical game and your settings are like high for everything, you could probably get about 4 hours before needing to get it back on the brick. And that's pushing it with brightness and all that stuff, the highest level of performance for 4 hours. If you can definitely stretch that out longer with different settings. But yeah, everything on highest settings, 4 hours, you can absolutely get that with this tablet. And then the sound, I'm not going to play any audio and stuff for you, but it's pretty decent. I'm not sure I noticed any benefits of like this AI audio or smart PA refocusing, the clean vocal chat and audio that Lenovo says it does. But it has dual speakers here. So there's a speaker right here on this side and right here on this side. And they get pretty loud and very crisp and clear for the most part. However, when you're gaming in landscape mode like this, I do rest my hands, my fingers, index fingers like this, which does muff the audio a little bit. So unfortunately, that's just part of the nature of the grip. You're going to kind of mask the audio a little bit. But otherwise, when it's open, it does sound very nice and it does work. So nothing like crazy good, but it's there. It's good enough. Yeah, I do love this industrial look. I do think it looks really nice. I think Lenovo did a really good job of this. My only thing about the actual purchase of this, whether you should buy it or not, it's quite expensive. This is $850 retail, and that, or close to that. You're impeding in the Steam Deck or the Xbox Rogue Ally space in that field. I know this is still just a tablet, and it's a different type of electronic or consumer device. However, especially with the economy as it is today, with all the prices spiking due to parts shortage and stuff like that, people aren't going to buy multiple devices. You're not going to buy one tablet to play Android games, a PC to play AAA titles, and then an emulation console. Those are excessive things that you only purchase when you have the funds, the extra funds to do. Nowadays, I do think a lot of people are trying to buy everything into one package to use for everything. And I just don't think this is it. This does a lot of good. It handles Android gaming really well. Probably one of the best Android tablets to have for Android gaming. Emulation, it handles really well as well. But you're going to still need a PC to stream your AAA titles or older, like slightly older AAA titles. Whereas if you buy a Steam Deck, that can play all 3 of these things. It can do emulation. It could do mobile games if you wanted to, if you really wanted to. And you can play your Steam library, and most of the recent AAA title games you can play on that. So in my recommendation, if you have the funds to buy multiple devices for different needs, then yeah, sure, get this. This is a really high-end, nice gaming tablet. But if you are looking for be-all, end-all, one gaming handheld to do everything, I don't know if this is it for the price. I do think that there are other things out there, not in a tablet form factor that can handle that, but this is hampered by Android. Unfortunately, it is hampered by the power of Android. And Android's come a long way, especially with the App Store and everything that we've seen on here, but it is still Android, and at the end of the day, it can only go as far as Android will go for the Snapdragon processor and all the power it gives you. So that's my thought on this. Let me know what you think of this tablet, what you think of gaming tablets in general. Would you rather get a Steam Deck or something like that instead of a pure gaming tablet? I would love to hear your thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next video.